Part 2. I stared at David, my mind reeling. A private investigator. What could Sarah possibly need a pie for? Sit down, Mr. Thompson, David said gently. This might take a while. As I sank back onto the couch, David pulled out a thick folder from his briefcase. Your wife hired me 6 months ago, he began. She suspected you were having an affair. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. An affair? That's ridiculous. I've never. David held up a hand. I know. After weeks of surveillance, I found no evidence of infidelity on your part, but in the process of investigating you, I uncovered something else. Something about Sarah. He opened the folder and spread out several photos on the coffee table. I leaned forward, my heart pounding. The photos showed Sarah in various locations around the city, with a man I'd never seen before. In some, they were talking closely, in others, holding hands. In one, they were kissing. I felt sick. Who is he? I managed to choke out. His name is Eric Daniels, David replied. From what I've gathered, they've known each other since college. They reconnected about a year ago through social media. A year. She'd been seeing this man for a year, right under my nose. There's more, David said hesitantly. Sarah is not just having an affair, she's pregnant. The room spun. Pregnant, after all our tries, all our disappointments. She was carrying another man's child. Why are you telling me this? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. Why didn't Sarah just? David sighed. Sarah doesn't know I'm here. When she hired me, I gave her my word I'd keep her investigation confidential. But when I discovered the truth, when I saw how deep this deception went, I couldn't in good conscience keep it from you. I nodded numbly, staring at the photos of my wife in another man's arms. What do I do now? I asked, more to myself than to David. That's not for me to say, David replied, standing up. But you deserve to know the truth. What you do with it is up to you. After David left, I sat in the darkness for hours, my mind a whirlwind of emotions, anger, betrayal, grief, and underneath it all, a lingering love for the woman I thought I knew. Days passed. I didn't call Sarah. I didn't reach out to her family. I simply existed, trying to make sense of my new reality. A week after David's visit, my phone buzzed with a text from Sarah. I'm ready to talk. Can I come home? I stared at the message for a long time before replying, yes. When Sarah walked through the door, her face pale and drawn, I felt a surge of conflicting emotions. Part of me wanted to hold her, to pretend none of this had happened. Another part wanted to scream, to demand answers for every lie, every betrayal. Instead, I simply said, I know, Sarah, about Eric, about the baby. I know everything. Her eyes widened in shock, then filled with tears. Mike, I held up a hand. Don't, just don't. I need you to listen now. And so I talked. I told her about the pain of her absence, about David's visit, about the weeks I'd spent reevaluating every moment of our marriage. I told her about the anger, the hurt, the sense of loss. When I finished, Sarah was sobbing quietly. I'm so sorry, she whispered. I never meant for any of this to happen. I nodded, feeling a strange sense of calm. I believe you, but it did happen, and now we have to deal with the consequences. Stay tuned for next video.